Welcome back. You're watching Prime Property. Time now for Property Doctor, where we get experts to answer viewer queries. This week, we got Proptiger's co-founder, Prasann Agarwal, to our studios. Our first query of the day is from Amit. He writes, I had bought a 2 BHK flat primarily for investment purpose in India Bull's Green Panvel project. It's in phase 2, for which approvals are under process. I'd written to the India Bull's customer care to check for start of construction, and they mentioned it should start in the next 3 to 4 months. I'd done the booking in June 2013 at 5,000 rupees a square foot. Please let me know if I should stay invested or move to some other project. There is a cancellation charge, flat 5% of the total cost, even though there is a delay in the start of construction from the builder's side. Prasann, what should Amit do? Stay invested or exit?
Hi Amit, thanks for the question. I think my suggestion would be that you stay invested in the India Bulls Greens project, given that it's one of the fantastic biggest township project in Panvel. It's hardly 8 kilometers from the proposed international airport, and of course the Panvel junction is close by as well. Also, I'm aware that the construction is delayed because the approvals have not come through, which are expected soon. What I would suggest is that you stay invested in this project for the next 8 to 12 months, given that phase 1 is kind of coming to completion, and that should give a good bump to the appreciation potential of the project, and that would be the right time to take a decision.
Well, I hope all of that helps you out, Amit. Time for our next query. It's coming in from Rhythm. It's a longish query, so I'm dividing it into 3 parts. First part, Rhythm writes, kindly suggest good properties developers in the Chembur area in Mumbai. The requirement is 2.5 BHK. Budget is 2 to 2.5 crore rupees. Property should be under construction, but by a reputed builder with a good track record of on-time completion and transparent dealings. This is primarily for investment purposes. I will be expecting a rental income and a possibility of end use in the future. How is the reputation of the following developers and projects? 1. A&O Realty, which is a joint venture of Ashapura and Options Group. The project is called Lux Towers. Second, Hubtown. The project is called Seasons. Third, by the Vadwa Group. The project is called Anantya. Which developer project should I consider? Prasann, what's your advice?
Hi Rhythm, thanks for the question. I would suggest that you look at the new launch by Godrej Properties called Godrej Central, which is in Chembur. A 2 BHK there would cost you about 2.5 crores, and fits into the budget that you mentioned. Also, Godrej, given its brand, the quality of construction would be very good, and the rental options at possession would be great as well. Out of the 3 options that you suggested, my pick would be the Vadwa Anantya at Chembur, given that it's one of the largest townships in the Chembur area, and of course Vadwa developer again stands for quality of construction and timely delivery.
So out of all the projects that you mentioned, Rhythm, Proptiger likes the one of Vadwa Group the most. On to the second part of your query. Rhythm writes, is it advisable to go for pre-launch offers where the IOD, completion certificates, etc. are still not in place? What are the options with consumers in case the approvals get delayed infinitely and projects get stuck? Prasann, what's your advice?
So my sincere suggestion here would be that one should invest in pre-launches, given that you can maximize the return on investment at that point by investing at the right time. However, one needs to scrutinize the background of the developer as well as the track record of the developer in terms of timely delivery. Most of these pre-launches do have a cancellation clause, which in case the project gets delayed beyond a certain point of time. So please do read the cancellation clause before you sign on a pre-launch project.
Well, Rhythm, is always best to err on the side of caution. And now to the final part of your query. Rhythm writes, please suggest the best location areas to invest in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, from the perspective of gaining maximum returns for a budget of 1 to 1.25 crore rupees. Also suggest projects which fit in with this requirement. Ulve is very much in the news, but the current social infrastructure of Ulve is poor and livability might take a minimum of 3 years. Please do suggest good developers and properties that are under construction with a delivery timeline of 2 to 3 years. Prasann, what have you got for Rhythm?
So again, here my suggestion would be, if you are looking at a budget of what 1 to 1.25 crores in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, look at Panvel very seriously, because it's an upcoming locality and a lot of township projects there. Again, Godrej is starting a new project in Panvel. Other projects to look for in Panvel would be Arihant Akanksha and Marathon Next Zone. You can also look at central suburbs, which would be Thane and Kanjurmarg, and a couple of projects from Runwal Group would be a decent investment there.
Well, Ritam, what can I say? Happy shopping. I hope you're satisfied with all of those answers. Our next query is coming in from Sharanjit Kapoor. He writes, I'm a 42-year-old government employee and plan to buy a property purely for investment in the NCR. However, I'm not interested in short-term gains. I'm looking for a good and safe investment that I can exit in 5 to 7 years to invest for an end-use property in my home state. My budget is 35 lakh rupees with a loan. The minimum time that I'm willing to invest is 3 years and a maximum of 5 to 7 years. I've been looking around and I've shortlisted the following properties. 1. Greenpoint by the Savior Group at Noida Extension. 2. Gaur Yamuna City and JP Green City at the Yamuna Expressway. 3rd, Ansal Sushant Megapolis at the Noida Extension. Request you to give your views on all of these projects. You can also suggest alternate investment ideas. Prasanth, what's your advice to Sharanjit?
Hi Saranjit ji, I think both Noida Extension as well as Yamuna Expressway have a very good future potential. So both do stand a chance when you look at a long-term investment in the Noida area. However, given the budget and the time frame that you mentioned, I would suggest you to look at Noida Extension and look at projects from reputed developers. The current rates in Noida Extension from reputed developers would be close to between 3,500 to 3,900 rupees a square feet.
Well, Sharanjit, I hope all of that helps you out. Time now for our next query is coming in from Manish Gaba. He writes, I've invested at the Yamuna Expressway near the F1 track in Supertech Golf Village and paid 40% of the amount for a 1,000 square feet 2 BHK. I request you to advise me about the following. When shall I exit from the unit? Is this the right time to exit? Second, the future growth of the Yamuna Expressway. Prasanth, what do you make of the Yamuna Expressway, and should Manish exit or stay invested?
Hi, Yamuna Expressway, does hold a huge, potential for growth in the coming years. The infrastructure there is fantastic. There's a lot of commercial development which is happening. A couple of companies like NIIT already have moved campus there. A lot of educational institutes, and the F1 track is already operational. There's the night safari also coming in. With all these infrastructure developments, I would suggest that Yamuna Expressway still has potential for growth in terms of prices, and thus I would suggest that you stay invested for the near term.
So Manish, that's the advice coming in for you from Proptiger. Time now for the next viewer query. It's coming in from Vinod, who writes, my budget including a home loan is 55 lakh rupees. Please suggest projects in Bangalore, keeping a 5-year investment horizon in mind. This will be for investment and not end use. What do you think of North Bangalore? Prasanth, what do you make of North Bangalore, and what are your suggestions for Vinod?
Hi, North Bangalore is a great center for economic activity. There's a lot of commercial development happening there. The Manyata Tech Park already has more than 1 lakh IT professionals working there. There's the KIA DB Park which is coming up. Also the Devanahalli Business Park, and close to 2 million square feet of office space that is getting developed in the Hibbal area as well. Thus, the North Bangalore holds a lot of potential in terms of investment. Areas to look at for investment there would be the Tanisandra Road as well as Devanahalli, and projects I would suggest look at Niku Homes in Tanisandra Road as well as Ozone Urbana on the Devanahalli stretch. These would be around 3,500 rupees a square feet.
Happy shopping, Vinod. On to the next query coming in from Sushant Singh. He writes, I'm looking at buying a 3 BHK flat in New Gurgaon as a long-term investment. I would want to hold it for a minimum of 3 to 5 years. My budget is 80 lakh rupees to 1 crore. After evaluating many projects, I've zeroed in on buying 3C Greenopolis. Is my decision right? Am I missing out on something better than this? I'm looking at a resale only 5 years from now. Prasanth, what's your suggestion for Sushant?
Thanks, Sushant, for the question. 3C Greenopolis, in fact, is a good project. What I'm missing here is essentially what is the current liquidity that you have, as well as the loan quantum, as well as the duration of loan that you're looking at. with that information, I would have been able to give you more precise options. However, what I would suggest you is to look at nearing completion projects and possession link plan from certain developers which are really attractive in the Gurgaon market.
Well, that's all the time we have for Property Doctor this week. You can always send us your property queries, feedback, experiences that you want to share with developers. Our email address is primeproperty@network18online.com. You can also tweet me. With that, we'll wrap up this edition of Prime Property. See you same time next week.